Alright, so the car was mostly put together whenever I picked it up. So I went ahead and removed the front, the upper and lower timing covers, which was actually kind of a pain. Removing the crank pulley was actually pretty difficult getting that bolt out. What I ended up doing was I took a pry bar, not a pry bar, breaker bar, and with I do believe that was a 19 or 7. I don't remember the exact size. It might be a 19 millimeter. And I basically set it up to where the breaker bar was touching the ground, and I just bumped the starter over, and it came loose after a couple tries of that. So that worked out pretty well. I was originally told that it may have jumped timing, but all the marks are pretty close aligned. It doesn't. I mean, it's definitely close enough to where I wouldn't assume that it jumped timing at all. You know, typical backyard mechanic was, well, that's basically what I am, but all the timing marks are basically in there. A lot of corrosion on the water pipes, so the water inlet and outlet. Not too bad. The big thing actually was the front sway bar here was never actually reconnected from whenever they I don't know, maybe when they were doing the coilovers, which ended up causing quite a bit of damage to one of the AC lines. So this AC line here got smashed up pretty good. I mean, completely flat. I don't think it's gonna work too well anymore. So I'm probably gonna actually try to get another one. Maybe get one from someone parting out one. That way I can maintain the AC in the car. And I did have a thought process of just getting rid of the AC altogether and just going full race car mode. But I don't know. I feel like since it's an NA, I'll probably want to have the AC. I don't think it's going to be that much of a quote unquote race car for me, being as slow as it is. But pulling the intake manifold was very difficult with it being in the car. Tons of things attached to this thing, tons of coolant lines, vacuum lines all over the place. It was ridiculous. I definitely should have just pulled this thing after I had the engine removed. I would put it back on, but there ain't no way. And then this car is ridiculous to work on, that I'm finding out so far. So it's been pretty fun. I did manage to pull a fuel line completely in half, so I'll have to replace that. Didn't notice it was still hooked up, and it ripped. So I mean, it's probably old and dry rotted as it is, since it's about to be a 30-year-old car. Pulled the starter already, alternator, in preparation to pull the engine. Got a couple more things to disconnect up underneath the car. Trying to work on the exhaust now. That seems to be very difficult so far. The exhaust, I don't think, has been disconnected. And I don't think the exhaust has been disconnected ever in the car. So just getting those bolts loose. I think they're 13 millimeter. Not quite sure, to be honest. Yeah, I stuck a 14 on there, and definitely was too big. So might be a 12 or a 13. I'm thinking. Well, I'll just go find a socket and just slap it up there and give it a shot. But the other side's gonna be a little bit harder to get to. And you can see those things are nice and rusted over. I already got the slave cylinder off. It's just kind of sitting down here. Nice thing. I mean, it's already got a stainless steel clutch line, so that's kind of cool. Like I said in a previous video, it's got a short shifter. I think I said that in the previous video. It's kind of funny. The starter's new on it too, and the starter actually wasn't even connected all the way. It's so fun to sit up underneath the car. It actually was just barely making contact with the power lead, and just so happened to touch to make it work fine. So I don't know if y'all can see that. I'm just kind of recording this on my phone, but it had a little bit of a area where it was just arcing. So goal is tonight is to maybe get the transmission dropped. I think I'm going to be fighting the exhaust for a little while, to be honest. I'm going to do a lot of deletes. The exhaust has been nice and scraped, and the car is sitting pretty low with the coilovers on it. Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get this thing taken apart decently fine today. But I also got to fix the dash. So these are just kind of hanging about. No screws on the bottom. I don't think that'll be too. That guy had them taped, which is really janky. Double DIN radio. Couldn't get that thing to power on yet, so also got a random switch. I have no idea what it does yet. I messed with it a little bit and nothing quite happened. But yeah, the short shifter is, I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. It's really never really been a fan of short shifters, but who knows, maybe I'll like it. But I'm gonna tear into this tonight too and take off. Maybe I'll see where that switch goes to. You know, it's okay though, so definitely okay. It's okay. This whole car is okay, I guess. Definitely needs some work. Most of the panels are in the back somewhere, and it did come with $3, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, this whole sticker kind of explains it all for the focus. So the vehicle looks and sounds dangerously fast, but it is actually quite slow. Prepare to be disappointed, but please enjoy the ride. So that is facts that this thing is gonna be obnoxiously loud due to the fact that the exhaust was cut right after the cats. So I'm surprised no one died of carbon monoxide poisoning from exhaust fumes inside the car, but who knows, maybe, I mean, I'll have to figure out the exhaust on this thing or what I'm going to end up doing with it. Maybe just run straight pipes back, but that'll probably be obnoxiously loud and everyone's going to hate that noise, I'm pretty sure. Who knows, I mean, I got this car just to kind of tinker with, and eventually, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with it being an NA. Might try to find just some used twin turbos to put on there and do like a Niz tune or something. I was thinking about doing just a complete twin turbo engine swap, or just a LS swap for that matter. But I don't know yet. So the plan now is just to get the engine out, transmission out, clutch replaced, do a refresh on the gaskets. You know, just replace the rear main seal. That looked like it was leaking pretty good. Inlet plenum, all that stuff, all the getting all new gaskets throughout the engine. Try to fix any leaks that it has, and hopefully when I pull the oil pan, whenever I drained the oil looked fine. There was no metal shavings or anything, and the oil looked pretty normal. So I'm really hoping that the bottom end is fine, but maybe one of the lifters is bad. It didn't sound like a true rod knock, and it did sound like it was coming from coming from the intake plenum. So really hoping it was on the right side of the passenger side of the inlet plenum. So I'm really hoping it was just a collapsed lifter, and then I'll be able to just replace a lifter or two to get that thing squared away. But we'll see. So we'll try to see if this is gonna end up being a disappointment or not. I'm gonna get back underneath the car and start trying to work on getting that exhaust off, and then I'll see what's going on. It looks like I got a couple ants crawling on the car now. Left the T-tops off to let this thing air out, but it might not have been the best idea now that there's bugs all over the place. But I'm really excited to I like the T-tops. Never had a car with T-tops on it before. So I'm excited to hopefully get this thing on the road and drive and have a nice, maybe like a weekend car to take out, maybe end up, I don't know, just straight drift missile. But it does look like it's got maybe a wrap on there, like wrapped in black. Just looking at like this fender here, see if it'll focus. I think it is a wrap that's on top of this. I don't know if the whole car's been wrapped or maybe if it was just this fender. It's definitely torn right here. The guy didn't really do a good job wrapping it. I mean, no contour to that at all, just straight down. I'm not even sure if it goes all the way down. It looks like it doesn't. It looks like it just kind of stops right here. So, I mean, this thing is an absolute piece, and the pinch welds have all been smashed up. These pinch welds here folded inwards, and then on the other side, a little bit better, they folded, sorry about the camera focus here. This side, the pinch welds folded out. Probably shouldn't use these pinch welds to jack the car up, because now, I mean, that thing's all, pretty rusted up, beat up, a bunch of crap in there. I'm gonna try to straighten that out, but since they jacked that up, the whole fender actually sticks out. So if you want that wide body look, jack it up at your pinch welds and let the thing go. Oh yeah, this thing's a huge piece of shit. But for the price I paid for it, that's kind of to be expected. The guy loved to fix stuff with tape, so we'll see how this thing goes. I'm gonna try to keep track and posting videos as I'm going through this thing, as I find stuff out. Maybe it'll help other people or whatever. It's kind of got like a blue interior piece there. That's kind of interesting. Didn't really notice that before. I guess the whole interior is blue. I haven't really looked at the car. I mean, we trailered it over here to my garage and kind of just started tearing into it immediately and didn't get enjoyed any. It's got I forget what they call these, odd hand wheels. Calipers had to be shaved, it looks like, to fit them. So it's already got the fender wells, liners removed. Still got some parts I need to take out. I think it's called like the IAC system or whatever. I'm gonna have that removed, or I'm gonna remove it myself. I did pull valve covers on this side just to kind of see if there was anything obvious. Didn't see anything, unfortunately. I was hoping it'd be something obvious where I didn't have to pull the engine, but kind of talked myself into pulling it anyways, because I really don't want it leaking all over my driveway or in the garage. So go through and refresh as many of these seals as I can before I put it back in there, because this car doesn't seem fun at all to work on with it in the engine bay. There's plenty of room now with the radiator gone, but got the AC compressor just kind of hanging out there, debating on whether to get rid of it or not. Gonna do EGR delete on it, the IAC delete. A couple of these coolant lines are already been capped. They still had lines on the plenum though. I think they capped them and didn't take them off the plenum due to the plenum not being removed, I don't think, ever. So there's a YouTuber, Zebras. It's kind of a funny name, but I've been kind of watching his videos and getting a lot of ideas what to do with this thing. He's been posting a lot since the whole COVID stuff has happened, so it's kind of perfect timing as I pick this car up and trying to get this thing as a decent, at least on the road and driving. I know it's a Nissan, so an old Nissan, so I'm not expecting a whole lot out of it at this point. Maybe hope to get it running, driving at least every so often, I guess. But it's an old '89 Chevy, other project, and then the old Ram. That's the daily right now. Doesn't get terrible gas mileage, but it'd be nice to have something else to drive. I mean, obviously, the Silverado. I mean, I just need to register that thing so I can drive it, but I like to have a manual vehicle to drive. You kind of miss it after selling the Evo a long time ago, and then the E36, so yeah, should probably get to work instead of sitting here talking. So I'm going to try to get up underneath there and probably end up just spraying it with more PV Blaster and calling it a night, because it's probably going to whoop my ass, so yeah, looking forward to this. So like I said, I'm going to keep trying to document this as much as possible. I'm not really good at just talking to myself, but especially for 16 minutes. So I'm going to cut it now and get to work, and probably cut in whenever I start actually removing the transmission.